Hey friends, we want to acknowledge this episode was recorded before the devastating fires that are currently burning in Southern California and specifically Los Angeles, where we're based. The Kinda Dating team is grateful to be safe and out of harm's way, but many of our friends have lost their homes. We hope you consider donating to help their recovery. We have a link in the description of this episode. Thank you for your support, and thank you to all the firefighters and first responders saving LA as we speak. Stay safe out there, and despite what's happening, enjoy this episode. It's really a great one.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Kinda Dating, the comedy dating podcast where influential friends and I break down the dating world and try to figure out why the fuck do we all have commitment issues. Today's topic is how vision boards can change your life. Let's do this. Hello, Kinda Daters. Hi, friends. I'm Natasha Chandel. You're listening to Kinda Dating. Guys, I have a great guest for you. She's been on the podcast before. Love her. She's blowing up on social media. So if you're not following her, what the fuck are you doing? You do a hilarious impression, which I need you to do on mic. But she's a great actress, guys, comedian, bona fide witch.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to butcher your name right now because Leah Knauer.
Yeah, you got it. Wow.
I remembered.
Good job. Good job.
It's a beautiful name. I really like that name.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice name.
When people mess it up, I'm like, Leah Knauer? That's a gross name.
Ugh.
Leah Knauer, there's like an edge.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
totally.
I like the K.
Leia. Oh,
No.
because of Princess Leia.
Yes,
That's
it's
why.
always nerds who are like fantasizing that my
Yeah.
name is Leia. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's Leah.
No, it's Leah.
Thanks for thinking I'm a princess. But no, it's Leah.
That's so funny. I would always assume Leah first and Leia second.
Yes.
But I get.
I get a lot of Leah. Do people mess up your name?
They call me Natalie.
Natalie.
That's not a joke.
It's like they
it
didn't even
happens.
try
Yeah, literally.
to read your name.
Or in school, because my last name was Chandel.
Uh-huh.
The Chandel. No, they call me Chantel.
Oh.
So I'm
Natalie
like
Chantel.
like literally two different names.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Teachers every year, at least once, would call me Chantel or Natalie.
That's so weird.
Yeah. And even now, sometimes people are like, hey, Natalie. I'm like,
That's so funny.
The one that bothers me is like how you say for Leia, it's Nats.
Nats?
Somebody calls me Nats.
Oh, you don't like that?
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, okay.
I think there's something mentally wrong with those people. Because I had a really bad
Wow.
boss who called me Nats.
That's what it is.
And I'm like, there's something like twisted in your mind.
Okay, I will never call you that.
Tash is like, everybody knows, like if you say Natasha, it's Tash.
You
It's
like
Tosh.
that?
Like
Tosh,
that's
yeah.
the American way.
Oh, Tosh 2.0.
Yeah, that's also,
Should you,
I've definitely
Should you have a podcast named that too?
well, you are hilarious. You do a great, you at some point you got to do it. The Jennifer
Who is
Coolidge.
it? Okay. Oh, God. Wow. I love kind of dating. I love kind of fucking. I love kind of eating. I love kind of doing anything. Wow.
Oh my gosh, it's brilliant.
Thanks.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
I saw it on TikTok and I was like, this is going to blow the fuck up.
Thanks.
And it did,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
blew up. I love it.
Her and Drew Barrymore are like probably my most requested.
That's awesome. Wait, I'm curious how you do. Okay, when you do Drew Barrymore, because she has,
She has a lisp. She has vocal fry. She has like a Valley Girl accent. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but do you ever worry about that? Because I do Malala, and Malala also has because. I mean, but hers is like she got shot in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, badass.
But at the same time, it changes the way she speaks.
Uh-huh.
So she has like it's closed on one side, and then some people they were like, I can't believe you're doing that.
They
I'm
think
like,
you're
what
like
are you
making
I'm like, I'm
fun.
not making fun of her. It's just literally how she speaks because I have to do that to change the way the words come out of her mouth.
Yep. Okay, I've found something that I don't know. Maybe this is like too niche, but I'm just gonna say it. So when men do impressions of other men,
I feel like no one comments and says, oh, you're making fun of them. But when a woman does female impressions, it's automatically assumed I'm making fun of them. I'm not making fun of them. I love Drew Barrymore.
100%.
I wouldn't make fun or like do an impression of someone that I don't admire or love, because then it's just feels cruel.
Totally.
Where it's like, no, that's just how she talks. She knows how she talks. Millions of people do impressions of Drew Barrymore.
And Will Ferrell, like he used to do Harry Reid.
Right.
And it was like.
But no one gets upset about that.
And he would go over the top with that of his like crazy and the voice and the. And you're like, what are you doing? Like,
I think let's give these female celebrities credit that they have a sense of humor that they can be made fun of. I don't know. I'm curious what they think about it, but
I agree.
But I don't feel like I'm making fun of her. But I do have people that think that.
I'm literally like, I'm not making fun of her. I'm just putting her in funny situations.
Yeah.
Like if I see, you know, I used to do like a Malala doing TV reviews. And it was like, because, you know, you think of her as like this beautiful, perfect person who's always like thinking about world peace, you know?
So smart.
And then she loved Sex Life and
funny.
The Simpsons and, you know, and I was like, oh, I just want to hear her talk about that. But that's
funny.
not making fun of her.
Yeah.
It's just going like, oh, I love her and I want to see her as a human being in other situations.
Yep, I'm with you.
So, guys, relax.
Guys, relax.
Okay? Just like let us be funny.
Yeah.
Breathe. How's life before we get into all this stuff? Like I'm trying to, I want people to like know people outside of just the regular, you know, context.
Wow. Are you asking about my life outside of comedy? Do I have a life outside of comedy?
How's life?
Life's good. Life's really good. I mean, this year, things have like really changed for me in a very cool way because of manifesting and like just self-care, self-love, going after what I want. It's also like in the last year, a lot of things changed, but there were 12 years before that. You know, it's like that led me here. So it's not out of nowhere.
100%.
But yeah, life's really good.
Yeah. So okay. So before we get into that, the last time you were on was a few years ago. So I don't know even where you're at, but
I think I was single.
I can't even remember.
I think I was single.
So what is it now?
Sure.
Single or in a relationship?
I've been in a relationship for 5 years. Yeah.
Wait, you haven't been on the podcast for 5 years?
I guess so, because I don't think
I mean, there was a pandemic for like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? 4 years ago.
Time flies. Yeah, it's end of 24.
The pandemic feels like it was like last year. Feels like we're like just now getting out of it.
I still feel tired from it.
Oh, 100%.
I like can't do shit.
Yeah. We all had like collective trauma after that.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So you've been in a relationship 5 years. How did you guys meet?
We met doing improv.
Oh,
yeah.
so cute.
And I like wasn't looking, quote unquote. And I wasn't, but even when you say that, you always kind of are.
Totally.
But I was just like doing things that I love and spending time with people in places that I love. And in doing so, I met a man that I love.
Oh,
yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yay. You were saying that like your life has changed. I wonder if like even that your relationship was something like you manifested because you talk a lot about it in your social media, which is what I love. And so what is kind of manifesting and vision boards and all of that to you?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. It's like creating a vision of yourself, a higher self vision, and like putting things on a board or putting things on a list that maybe feel out of reach or crazy or quote unquote delusional. But if it feels that way, that means A, it scares you, B, it's like a dream, which is you shouldn't write down realistic stuff because then you should just like go do it today.
Completely.
But it should be stuff to aspire to. And then once you write it down, I swear the universe just like opens things up and you start to accept those dreams for yourself and then believe in yourself more and put yourself in situations that'll lead to those things.
And how long have you been? No, totally.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing them?
Vision boards? Oh my gosh. Since I was a teen, like not every year, you know, but like on and off since I was a teen. Yeah. I discovered The Secret when I was a senior in high school.
Yes.
And that changed my life.
Yes. Yeah. I do remember. I don't know if like that's even a thing for a lot of people now, but there was this great, it used to be on like a DVD called The Secret, and it was
In a
about
book.
in the book. I mean, I just watched the
Okay.
DVD, I'm not gonna lie.
the movie's great.
Yeah. And it was about the power of attraction. And a lot of it is about manifesting your life and how thoughts become things. That was like one of their big core kind of statements that they said.
Yep.
But for anybody listening and you don't know what a vision board is, it's basically like a collage of images, words, affirmations that depict the life you want to have. And so you can cater it to one specific part of your life, which is kind of what we'll talk about today, or you can do it generally about your whole life. So it's like, your dreams, your aspirations, all of that. And like Leah said, it's something that shouldn't feel like, oh, you could just do on a to-do list tomorrow. It should be something that is like a vision for yourself and the life you want. And we're going to talk about how to kind of come up with what you want in that board and sort of the key, like certain things to remember when you're coming up with vision boards. Because people can get turned off of it and go like, oh, this thing didn't happen, like I'm done.
Yet.
So we can,
It didn't happen yet.
That's the key.
Yeah. Exactly. And so many things like do happen. Like when you asked me to bring my old one, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, wow, this is, I mean, should I show it?
So wait, let's talk about this a little more.
Okay.
You started as a teenager.
Yeah.
And how did you kind of, what was like your first ones like? How are you making them?
Oh, wow.
Like the magazines?
I
like
think it was magazine clippings at that time. Like cutting up magazines, getting together with your girlfriends and like little words and pictures. How I do it now, though, is a little more digital.
Yes,
I love to use Canva and make like a phone wallpaper
Same,
and then set it as my background. Is that what you do?
Nice. I didn't know. I didn't do that one. That's really good.
Oh, it's amazing because every time you look at your phone, you see Netflix, Allure, Elle, Vogue, whatever it is that you're like manifesting and you see it.
Totally. So I started vision boarding in 2019. So very recent.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to think this shit is crazy. And I was like, okay, like hippie shit,
But at the very least, it's fun. I love crafting. So I'm just like,
and I didn't. Like, I hated all that stuff as a kid, as a girl. Like, I was just like, whatever. But I did always love witchcraft. But I was just like, oh,
that's a craft.
This is like a hippie thing. So I just was like, I'm not into it. But in 2019, I kind of was just at this stage where I was really stuck in life. And I was just like, let me try it. What difference is it going to make? And I'm not going to lie, I felt stupid doing it, which is why I'm saying it, so that if you do this, which I really, really encourage, you're going to feel weird at first because it's going to feel silly.
Yep.
And then I want you to share how it helped your life, and I want to share how it helped my life. And then we're going to show you guys our vision board so you can see we're not making this shit up.
Yeah.
So show me yours.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, I can show you my wallpaper.
Oh, yeah. Show me that.
Wallpaper.
And then tell me, like, okay, what you put down and then like how it manifested in your life.
Yeah.
And you should definitely show it to the audience. Guys, again, we are on YouTube and Spotify videos, so you can watch this and see our boards in person there.
Okay, I'll try to show this to camera. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll zoom in on it.
Okay.
And I'll take a little picture of it after.
Yeah,
So we'll add it in.
So, and I'll show you real quick while I describe it.
Ooh, that's cute. That's a really nice one. I like that.
It's like subtle. You don't even realize that.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't look like a...
Okay, so in the middle, I have a big quote. This was like my quote of the year. Everything is always working out for me. So when I would feel stressed, when like things were kind of falling out of place, I would say, everything is always working out for me.
Yes.
And just trusting that, and 10 times out of 10, they do. It's like things just fall into place and it's like, oh, why was I stressing? I did not need to stress. Okay, so I have...
And do you know Bill Lawrence does that too?
Oh, really?
So Bill Lawrence, guys, is like a huge showrunner. He does Shrinking, Scrubs, Ted Lasso.
Undateable.
Oh, yeah. Undateable.
Yeah.
A lot of shows. And he talks about like that people get really mad at him, but he literally walks around with kind of this chip on his shoulder. And he always says like, everything works out for me. And so when people go like, oh, how come you like, how have you sold all these shows? It's like, everything works out for me. And
I wonder
people
if he's
think
doing that
he's
from a
like,
spiritual point of view, or
he's literally
does
doing
he-
it from like an affirmation.
He knows,
like,
okay.
He's just like, I say it
love
and it
that.
always just works out for him.
Yep.
And that was when I also started changing some of that
Yes.
and adding that into my vocabulary, because
Yes.
we don't realize the things we keep saying about our lives.
Yes.
So
that
I
the
love that you
universe-
have like a quote.
The universe has magical ways of
Yeah.
opening up. Real quick, this is a little anecdote that is so that. So last month I booked this movie, very exciting. I'm so excited. Thank you. And then like when we were talking about the scheduling of it, I could not miss my best friend's wedding. And then the day after her wedding, she had this brunch that I wanted to attend, but I was like, okay, as long as I'm at the wedding, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So the dates worked out that I was going to have to miss the brunch the next day. And I'm really bummed. I'm like, you know what? Everything is always working out for me. I will get to go to the wedding. I'm so glad. And I get to do this movie, which is so cool. And then the like day before the wedding, I got an email from production saying, I mean, it's kind of bad, but there were fires.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
San-
That
Santa
happens. It's
Clarita.
okay. Yeah,
So because of the fires, production had to get pushed a day.
yeah.
So now I got to go to the wedding and the brunch. And I was like, oh my God, the universe is always
so
working out
good.
for me.
100%.
So it was like even something as small as that. Well, it was like big. It was very exciting. But it was
Totally.
just like the dates moving. I was like,
That's a great example. I
Yes.
really like that. And that's the thing. Sometimes like those small things happen and they reinforce that the bigger things are going to happen. So
Yep.
like don't negate the small things that are working out in your life, guys, because that's what's going to
yes.
lead to the bigger stuff.
And just trust. And also that required me to ask for those dates off. I was willing to risk like, hey, I'm not missing this wedding. So if I have to miss the wedding, I can't do the movie. So that's another big lesson too of this is ask for what you want and state clear your boundaries
And trust.
allow the universe exactly to like fall into place and make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I have on here is quote unquote, Leah is the new sensation.
Yes, which he is.
Thank you. Quote iconic, smiley face, music notes, SNL, Forbes. And I'm using like the real logos of those things. So you can see like
Yep.
SNL, Forbes.
Totally.
So my brain immediately associates like already seeing me with those things like on Forbes, which I'm already in. So okay, deadline. And then I have a picture of I think it's the Emmy Award, a star, a heart, sparkles. This is all the vibe of like fabulous, being a star, love, self-love,
Yeah.
shining. Oh, I have the Nickelodeon symbol. I forgot I put that on here. Why is that on here?
Maybe we're like a Nickelodeon show,
I
like
guess
a
it was,
voiceover
yeah.
or something.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, it was Nickelodeon voiceover. I have an Eiffel Tower, a witchy eye. There's like
Ooh.
a headshot of me in the corner. Cosmopolitan, which I am also have written for.
Yes.
Quote unquote hilarious. Then a Netflix logo, CBS logo, After Midnight. So some of these Vogue, some of these have not happened
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
yet.
That's
which
exactly
that's the
it.
big part of saying is
Totally.
yet. Because
Totally.
it allows space for it. It will still happen.
Totally. So
But Netflix happened this year.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like you
Uh-huh.
had two.
Mhm.
You booked two things. You were you opened for Arsenio Hall, which is a huge deal. Like you've had a lot of like movement, which
Yeah.
manifests from all these things.
Yes, from like believing it. That's the other thing too, is like having this vision of yourself, but then allowing space for other surprises to come in. I could have
Completely.
never guessed that I would open for Arsenio Hall and like be friends with Arsenio Hall this year, but that happened because of believing those other things.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. Guys, so when I started in 2019, which I still consider like my big vision board, it's kind of like I never thought I would do one yearly. I was just like, I'm just going to do one big one, right? And I put thought into it, but like I didn't exactly know totally what I was doing. I was just like, this is like the dream board.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show it to you guys.
Ooh, I'm excited to see it.
Okay, this is the very first one I did, and then there are different iterations after that. So this is the first big one.
Yes.
Let me see if I can do that. There it is on the big camera, and then there it is on the other camera. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this here.
So you made this one what year?
I made this one in 2019.
Okay, this is your first one that you made.
My very first one I made, okay? Now you can see on there that there's like the TV stuff that I wanted. There's like a Netflix originals, the kind of people I wanted to be like. So I had Mindy, Priyanka Chopra, all of that. I had the kind of relationship I wanted on the bottom left. And then I had like mental health stuff. And then I had just like the dream, like the house, I want to be a fucking billionaire. I want to have like an empire. Like that's the dream, right? So I was like, fuck it. I really I want to go to the Met Gala. That's what I want. I want to wear those clothes and go to the fucking Met Gala.
Yes. I'll see you there.
Right?
I want that
exactly.
too. Yeah.
So I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to put it all in. And in 2019, it was my very first time that I tested for Never Have I Ever, which was a Netflix original with Mindy Kaling. Yep. And I was runner-up for one of the series regular roles.
Wow.
So it was myself and my friend Richa who got it.
Wow.
But I had Mindy there as like somebody I wanted to be like. But I ended up meeting her.
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
then didn't know, because originally at the final test they said Mindy's not going to be there, and I was like, okay. First they said she was going to be there, then they said she's not going to be there, and then I showed up and I wasn't even ready. I was just looking down. She walked over to me. She goes, "Hi, I'm Mindy Kaling. Thank you so much for doing this." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Nobody told me you were going to be here."
Did they trick you or say that?
I mean, it was kind of a screw. It was my agent at the time definitely screwed up. Like they should have followed up, or somebody should have told me, because I was thrown.
Okay.
And my other friend knew that Mindy was coming, so her agent had told her. I was like, okay, because you freak out. I'm like, my idol's just like suddenly in front of me. I'm like, what's happening? So anyway, but that was Mindy. So I didn't get that. But then 2 months later, I staffed on Mr. Iglesias, which was a Netflix original.
Wow.
So it was like so bizarre, right? Then I kept this vision board until like 21 probably. So in 2020, if you look at the bottom left, is where I had what I envisioned for a relationship. And it was, I wanted to laugh with somebody. I wanted somebody that was like my equal, which is why I put George and Amal, because I was like,
I wanted George Clooney.
Yeah, no. And it's so funny because I didn't, right? I didn't even want to date somebody older than me, because I was like, but I just wanted an equal. That was what I saw them as, like very equal.
Power couple.
And then, and I'm not into like a visual guy like Chris Evans, but I loved Chris Evans as like Captain America, stoic. Like I loved his, I just love like broad shoulders and the way he like carries himself, that kind of quiet confidence. And then I had a mixed race couple, because I was like, somebody has to be cool with my culture. That was like important to me.
Cute.
February 2020 is when I met Luis, who is somebody I laugh all day with. He is older than me by 9 years. Full salt and pepper hair, like George Clooney. Was never into that. Like,
oh, really?
Not that I wasn't into. Like, I literally kept saying I want to date somebody my age, but you can't help who you fall in love with. So it was like whatever. And then if you meet him, or if you see him, guys, on social media, like you'll see he is built like Chris Evans. Like he has that like. Wait,
I need to see a photo.
Oh, yeah, you should see it on Instagram. But like, he's very like, he has like that broad chest and, the shoulders, and he has a very quiet confidence. And then we're like a mixed race couple.
Wow.
I was like, what the fuck? And that I didn't even piece together until like 8 months after we were together, where I looked back and I was like, holy shit, did I manifest that? Like,
totally.
No idea.
Yeah.
Then so that's this board, right? Then I also used to do like these kind of digital ones just on my cell phone.
Yeah.
And I put in at the point I was doing video. I was doing animation voiceovers, but I really wanted to do video games. And so I was like, I don't know anything about video games, but like, what's the biggest video game in the world? And I said Call of Duty. So I put a logo of Call of Duty. Never thought about it again, moved on. And this from doing voiceover auditions, you don't know what you're auditioning for, because they have fake names.
Yep.
And so I booked something. It was my very first video game. I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome. And it was super NDA'd. And I went there, and in the studio, they're like, welcome to Call of Duty.
Wow.
And I was like, I literally said to them, what the fuck?
Did
and
you
I was
tell
like,
them?
yeah. I was like, guys, can I
Wow.
show this to you? Because like I had this on my vision board. Just an image of Call of Duty
Yes.
to represent I
That's
want
so
to do video
cool.
games. And like since then I've been doing a lot of video games. And then I also had like 3 Arts at the time as management company. And then I got them as managers. And I was like, what is happening? So the idea is that these things really do happen. And now I got Luis into it. And at first he was also like, this is dumb. This is dumb.
Into doing
Vision
vision boards?
boards.
Oh, that's so fun.
And his started coming true. And now he's like, hey, we do an annual vision board party.
Cute.
And we do some with like virtually online with a couple of friends. One is a huge manager now who reps Matt Rife.
Wow.
And she manifested that entire thing. Like I've known her for years, and she manifested that entire
Wait,
thing.
I want to know more.
Yeah, I mean, like
how-
she's like a queen witch for
Yes.
sure. Well, no, every year she was just like, she manifested that she was going to be in like the, what is it? Hollywood Reporters, 30 under, 35 under 35 or whatever. Like she would put those things and like be so concerted, and then she got it. And, she kept being like, I want more as like a rep. She's always wanted to be a rep.
Yeah.
And then happened.
Did she specifically want Matt?
She's been with Matt. She repped Matt as an agent years before.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
but like kept believing in him. She repped me. But I was already with another management company.
Okay.
And so then she was like, she obviously couldn't
Yeah.
steal. So, but she was just like, when she believes, she like
Wow.
believes.
Yeah.
She was the first person who like, when I started stand up, literally just said to me, she was like, you're going to like be a star. And I was like, huh? And I didn't know her. I was just
huh?
like, what? And she was just like, no, like you have that thing
Uh-huh.
on stage. And I was like, okay. But it made me believe because she
Totally.
believed.
Yep.
And I realized how important that was.
Yes.
Because I was like, as somebody who questions myself all the time, that was such a beautiful message to hear.
I love
And then as
that.
I got to know her, I was like, man, this bitch like manifests shit. I was like, so if she believes this, I'm going to believe it.
Oh, it's
you
so
know?
real.
Like I said, I love these things because of all of this. But why, and we kind of touched on it a little before, but why do you think vision boards work?
Oh, I think it's because it's like a somatic, you're connecting your brain to your body. You're like physically making your thoughts tangible. And like anything you write down, it has way more of a possibility to actually like manifest, visualize, become real, just because you like everything that exists in the world, like that wreath, everything that you can see with your eye was once a thought. So then once you like put that thought into either writing it down or planning it, it's like it becomes more of a real thing.
100%. And people will sometimes like forget the science part of even what they would consider spirituality, which is everything, guys, is vibrating.
Yep.
Like everything is made of a molecule and an atom that is constantly vibrating.
Yes.
Every word we speak has a vibration. Thoughts are actually you can measure scientifically the vibration of a thought.
Yep.
And so when those thoughts are colliding with life, like there's a real life interaction, like a chemical kind of reaction happening. And so when you just go back to basic science, which is like every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yep.
So whatever you're putting out in the world, you get back with the same intensity. And so in that sense, it makes sense when you're like, oh, I'm putting this on paper and in my thoughts and thinking about it all the time and then pushing it out. And not hopefully, it always comes back in.
And that's what annoys me is people always like, oh, manifestation, woo woo. I'm like, no, like scientists and doctors back this. It's like, it is brain chemistry, it's neuroscience, it's like everything you're saying. It's like, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. And I've seen it in my own eyes. And when you don't believe it for yourself, you're only hurting yourself. because
true.
once you start believing it, then it starts coming true. And
It's
you realize that you have so much more control of your life than maybe you realized before.
How would you, because I think the hardest part about it is not letting the negative thoughts creep in between, right? Because sometimes it's like while you're waiting for something to happen, you start questioning or doubting, is it actually going to happen?
Yeah.
So how have you kind of combated those thoughts? Do you? Sometimes I don't, sometimes
Really?
I've gotten mad a couple times in my life and like put through this fucking vision board away and I like put it away. I was like, fuck this, you're messing with my mind.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it so badly,
yeah.
versus like surrendering and trusting.
It's normal and it's human to doubt it. I definitely have those moments, but what I come back to is positive affirmations. I made my own, I meant to bring them and I forgot. I made 3 of my own holographic oracle cards and they're like positive affirmations. And genuinely, when you tell yourself these things at the beginning, it might feel like weird or fake or stupid. But when you are training your brain to think those certain ways, it's like brain elasticity where your brain goes back now to the positive thoughts instead of the negative ones. So yeah, it definitely happens to me and it's natural and it's normal. I also remind myself that it's probably hormonal. I'm probably getting my period.
For sure. There's so much of that.
Most of the time,
much of that.
I'm like, wait, why do I want to die? Why do I want to give up on everything I've ever built and just throw it all away? I just got my period.
Yeah. Are you like that? Oh man,
Yes.
Poor Luis. He's just like,
Yes.
like the week before, he's like, okay, I'm so sorry because anything can set me off. I'm just the worst.
And then there's such a relief when I like finally do
once I
see
get-
that I got it.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm not crazy. Or maybe a little bit.
A little. We all are.
But yeah, just reminding myself that there's like cycles to life and phases and like it's okay to doubt. If there is doubt, that means I just need to lean heavier into meditation, yoga, self-care, getting a facial, getting a massage, EFT tapping. I mean, there's so many different tools to like take control of that.
Yeah. I also think of like athletes and like Olympics level athletes. Like if the word manifestation or vision boards bumping with you, I think also thinking of it as mindset is a really important thing because like athletes
100%.
are all about mindset. They tell themselves that they are the best. They tell themselves that they will win at all costs. They tell themselves nothing is going to stand in their way. That's an affirmation. But they call it mindset. Right? And so somehow it feels like more palatable and like a male thing to do.
Yes.
So cool. But if that's what it is, like consider it that. But you do control your mindset. And I really believe that people can start bringing in the kind of relationships that they want. We've talked a lot about it in the past of like the narrative you're saying, which is the same kind of thing, like the words you keep repeating about relationships. Oh, I'm not even looking for anybody. Fuck that shit.
And what you say about yourself, like, oh, I love emotionally unavailable men. Okay.
Yep.
So then you do. But if you change that, because you have the power to change that phrase, or like, oh, there's no one good to date in LA. Every guy sucks. That's an affirmation.
100%. Because people say that to me all the time. And like
It's
you
not
and
true.
I found great people in LA. And I was like, yeah, there are also shitty people in LA.
Yeah.
But when you switch that off in your brain, I was like, those people weren't even my type. Like now I actually struggle to find like a lot of the people who are in the business because I just switched out of that. I was like, oh, this is like a little.
And the energy of thinking that affects you too. So if I were to say, guys in LA suck, and then I go on a date with a guy, my energy is gonna suck because I'm looking at him like, oh, this guy fucking sucks. Versus if I go into this date and I'm like, wow, there's so many amazing men in LA. I'm so excited for this date. Then I'm like, even just saying that, my body and my body changed when I just said that. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to be here.
So true.
It's like so different. And that's why energy is like reflected back to you.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
notice what you're saying first. Also, I want to add, if manifestation feels too witchy for you and you're like maybe religious, manifestation is prayer.
Oh, 100% is prayer.
When you say, I'm going to be on SNL, and so it is, that's a prayer. You're saying like to the universe, whatever it is that you want, it's like you're saying to the universe what you want and trusting that
Yeah.
the universe, God, whatever it is, will like grant you that wish.
Yeah. And sometimes, listen, like, you know, we all find our path in a different way. Like for me, because I've had a lot of, in the past, I used to have a lot of like setbacks, and I've, you know, I've gone through a lot of adversity in life that people don't often know about. But my therapist was the one who, you know, where I used to be so bummed out, and I used to be like, you know, like nothing works out, blah, 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 all the negative stuff. She was the one who made me write it down. And she was like, cool, right? Just write down all your whole timeline of your life that you feel all the shit happened. And I wrote it down. And then she also made me write down like all the good things that happened. And she was like, do you see that you actually have like 100% batting average? Every single thing you said you would do, you got done.
Wow.
Didn't happen at the timeline that we wanted, but every single thing got done. And I was like, you know, a kid when I moved to America, and I told everybody when I was like 19, 20, I was like, oh, I'm going to move to New York and work for MTV. And everybody thought I was nuts because I was in Canada, a small town, like Indian girl, like not in any of this. And I did an internship at VH1, fell in love. First hated New York. I was like, I'm never going to be in New York. And then fell in love. And I was like, I'm going to move to New York and work for MTV. And my agent in Canada, they all laughed at me because I was a 20-year-old. You need this like very specialty visa to get.
Okay.
And I literally said to him, I was like, cool, thank you for doubting me because I'm going to show you.
Oh, yes.
And then like a year and a half later.
Works for MTV?
I moved to New York, and then I ended up working for MTV 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
I was a
cool.
producer writer at MTV News for 4 years.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love the doubters.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the haters.
Yeah.
It does thrive me.
Yeah.
Which maybe is sick and twisted, but it works.
No, you do feel like you're like, yeah, fuck you. But I will say sometimes it's hard. Like,
oh yeah.
I think with, you know, for people putting themselves out in their love life, like it can feel like nothing has worked so far. So why this? Like, and in that moment, like I really encourage you to try some of the stuff Leah was suggesting, because it's like you got to break. Like it's just, you just got to know that negativity isn't your natural state of mind. You just have to break out of it, and you got to try whatever works for you. Some people it's music, some people it's working out, some people it's more affirmations, some people it's like going out and doing a specific activity, therapy, whatever it is to break you out of it. But it is normal and natural, but like we're examples that these things can work out for you.
Oh yeah.
So what, and I think coming back, I want to really reiterate the key to a vision board is I love that you like condensed it into
believing in it, having a vision for yourself, a higher vision for yourself.
You said not
what did
yet.
I say? Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what I said.
Not yet. And that I really believe is the key to overcoming kind of the negativity, which is don't think like because I put this down, it's going to happen overnight. Or it's going to manifest in the way you want.
Yes.
It's in the way the universe wants for you.
You never know.
Like I said, the Mindy example is great. Like I didn't have her for the reason I originally had. Yep. And then I met her and then ended up writing for a Netflix original. Not what I had in, but then it opened up a whole new world for me that I was supposed to be in.
Yes.
You know, same thing with relationships. Like I didn't expect that to work out, but it did when it did.
Yeah,
you know, it didn't again. It happened overnight.
And had that belief in yourself to begin with.
Yeah.
100%.
So like having the vision board and like putting it somewhere that you can keep looking at it is important.
That's important. Very important. On an altar, somewhere like a wall that you walk by every day, it shouldn't be hidden away in a closet, because spiritually, energetically, that says something too. It's like, oh, you're hiding your dreams away or tucking them away, or they feel like dirty or shouldn't be seen. It's like, no, it should be open in an altar or like seen and celebrated. You don't need to post it or share it if you're not comfortable doing so, but like you should see it every day.
Totally.
I also have a tip for manifesting love.
Ooh, tell me.
May I? Okay.
Yes.
So 5 years ago, before I met Drew, my man, I made a list of every quality that I wanted in a partner. Every quality, like very specific, what they smelled like, what they did, where they attended, how they made me feel. And I wrote down every single quality, and then I folded up the paper, said, and so it is, and then I tucked it away. Then like months later, met Drew, we started dating, and then I like took that paper out when I was like cleaning my room months later, and I read through it. I was like, oh my God, this is like exactly my guy. And I always recommend doing that because it's like you're having a clear vision for yourself of what you want to attract. And in doing so, now your eyes are open to meeting those people.
Totally.
So then my heart was open when I saw him and met him because I was like, oh, like you feel familiar to me because I already envisioned you and wrote you down on a piece of paper.
Yeah. I that's such a great technique. I love that. The part that, and I'm curious how your experience was, because I also think like, yes, you should write the like very specific qualities and don't be apologetic. Like whatever is your fucking thing. If you want somebody who
has a horse cock.
Yeah, literally.
Go for it. That was on mine.
Horse cocks.
That was on my list,
yes.
by the way.
Tell us about Drew.
He's mine.
But whatever that is, like manifest that and put that in your vision board unapologetically. And then just know that, like, okay, let's say you put, I want her to be, I'm speaking from a guy's point of view. I want her to be a 10. And let's be honest, maybe you're a 5. Okay, just be completely honest. Like maybe there are people out there, you know, there are people out there. Yeah. And like I'm not a 10. So like if I say 10, then I'm limiting the pool. But I think what you have to trust is the universe is going to give you your 10.
Yes.
So who you will see as a 10. Yep. Because there is no objective 10, guys. Like not a single human on earth is loved by every single person. Like everybody will find some flaw in somebody.
Yep.
So it's a subjective 10.
Absolutely.
And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's like that. So I want to like give that caveat. So it's like however you perceive that. Because again, I wasn't into Chris Evans. I mean, he is super fucking hot.
Chris, if you're watching this,
so fucking
we think you're hot.
But but for me, it was like the feeling he gave, like when I saw him of like a strong, safe, stoic man that was like integrity, you know. So we're talking Chris Evans as Captain America, not Chris Evans in like Knives Out or whatever.
But that sweater though,
right?
He looked good in that sweater.
on the cover of People, I was like, stop being you. Stop
I love that. I love what you're saying, and it's like having specificity on not even looks, but just in general, having specificity of how you want, but then staying open-minded because maybe you have this vision of like a white guy, but then you fall in love with someone who's not white. And it's like, why would I stay stuck on this thing that I wrote when I feel it with you? So it's like, trust your body and your feelings of staying open-minded to whatever comes through.
Yeah, it's so true. Like I said, I didn't expect to be with somebody 9 years older than me. You know, I was like, I want somebody my age. And then when I saw it and then I looked back, I was like, oh man, he's got that fucking George Clooney salt and pepper hair. I was like, I didn't realize I was manifesting an older guy that was like my equal.
Yeah.
So for me, I was representing equal. And the universe saw it as like equal, but your equal is 9 years older than you.
I love that.
You know what I mean? So it's like how you have to trust that part, I think. So being like very targeted, being very specific, using keywords, right? Like you had, I love the statement for the year. I also do that. So I do, like this year I did best year yet. And I said, God is great. I'm both. I'm a big God believer and whatever.
I love how clean this one is.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I've tried different ones and I think it's important for you guys to try different ones. Like this one's very clean. This is like very collagey again, you know, for 23. And again, in 23, when I wrote this, I booked it and like didn't totally consider it. And in 23 January, I booked 2, like one cable national and one national. Amazing. I was like, what the fuck?
I love it.
So, you know, not every single thing happens.
Yep.
But at least one thing
For sure.
always happens.
Can I show you mine?
Yeah, please. I haven't done mine for this year yet.
Or
so.
this was this
Oh,
past
yeah,
year.
for 24, yeah.
So this is what I did for 2024, showing the camera. And then this was the back.
Oh, I love it. This is really nice because you wrote it yourself.
Yes. This was all handwritten. I added little gems. This one is less about, and this is on the back of my closet. So every time I open up my closet door, I see this. This was less about specific career. This was about feeling. What is the feeling of 2024? And for me, it was, these were the affirmations on the back. I am enough. I forgive. That one's usually very hard for me.
Yeah.
I am happy. I deserve good things. I am loved. I am worthy. And I love my life.
Oh.
And truly, like, this is my first time reading this since the beginning of the year. And I'm like, wow, that was the vibe of this year.
It is.
Because so many good things happened. And it was me, like, accepting my own power on stage and off of, like, no, I'm a fucking star. So some of these things say, I'm a star, born to perform, I can do this, happy, love, a lot of sparkles, a lot of hearts. I'm a TV series regular, hasn't happened yet. Yet. Love, family, I forgive others, connection, abundance, joy, I deserve good things. These are all just like keywords that make me feel empowered and good. I'm a movie star, fun, success, travel, friendships, ha ha ha. I love myself. I forgive my past. I forgive myself.
Oh, this is so great.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
it doesn't have to just be like things. It can also be like feelings and energy.
exactly. And I want, again, people who are listening to not go like, oh, but everybody has the same shit on their thing, because it manifests differently for each person. Not everybody actually lives the same life. And that's what's so special about life, is that, like, you know, it's like if both Leah and I have movie star, both of us can be movie stars.
There's more than enough for everyone.
There's lots of movies getting made.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and that's where it's like, don't worry about what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry how the universe is going to make that shit happen. There's tons of people in the world. There's tons of dreams. There's tons of possibilities. It's all possible. Like, billionaires never fucking question it. They're like, oh, I'm going to be another billionaire.
Yes.
They don't ever go like, oh, but I mean, how many people can be billionaires?
Yes. And that's the idea of abundance, of trusting that there's enough for more, there's enough for everyone, that like, just because you're a TV regular doesn't mean that I can't be. Exactly. What you're saying. It's like, yeah. Because
I think that's like, you know, I'm just trying to think of like the stuff that people might block themselves from trying to do this. One last thing before we like wrap out this episode is, do you think people have to wait till like the end of the year to like do this?
No way. Oh my gosh. I made that phone wallpaper like mid-year.
Same.
Yeah. And you can always refresh if you're like, oh, this doesn't vibe with me, or I need a boost of like inspiration. Yeah. Oh my God. You can make thousands of vision boards for 1 year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luis and I this year are going to do, because we just got married like 3 months ago, but we're going to do individual and we're going to do a joint vision board. Because we were like, I told him, I was like, I want us to stay connected and have a joint vision together, even though
You have a joint bank account.
Yeah,
Why not
exactly.
a joint vision board?
Because we're both like as individuals with individual dreams, and that's important. But like we have a collective dream too. And I was like, we want to start doing that together. But I also love your cell phone wallpaper idea.
Do it.
So I think I'm going to do that one this year.
Oh, it's so fun.
As in like convert mine maybe to like a cell phone version also.
Yep.
I love Canva for that.
Oh, Canva's
Canva
the
just
best.
sponsor us, because we just put out a whole episode about you.
Canva's the best.
Well, guys, we really want to see your vision boards too. So send us pictures of your vision boards to kindadating@gmail.com, or tag us, because I think we would both love to see that.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leah, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming back last minute. I like
Thanks for having me.
I love you. I love all the stuff you're doing. I'm so happy to see you killing it. And like, again, manifestation, bigger, better. Like, we both deserve it.
Yes. It's possible for all of us.
So much available.
Yes. Oh, and so
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Yes.
How can everyone find your work on all socials?
Yeah. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Leah Knauer. That's LeahKnauer.
And we will have her social media in the description of this episode, so make sure you follow her. And guys, we're also on social media. I'm at Natasha Chandel on Instagram, natasha.chandel on TikTok. We're at Kinda Dating across the board on all social media, so follow us there. Finally, thanks for downloading this episode. If you like something you heard, please screenshot the episode and tag us on social media. I know it seems tough out there, but just try.
Yes. Try and trust.
And vision board that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Try
It
out.
just might come true.
And so it is.
And so it shall be.